In the race for U.S. Senate, polls show Colin Allred closing in on Ted Cruz.
I see little chance of, one candidate or the other breaking away here. I think if anything, it's only going to narrow further.
We dig deeper into the numbers and the campaign cash flooding into this race.
We always say we're going to be as blue as a Texas sky.
The race for president draws crowds to events in Texas, but see why campaigns are not necessarily trying to win votes. Fentanyl is killing thousands of Texans, but new laws may be making a difference. We look at the work underway now to save lives. And Texas leaders sound the alarm and call on the state to do more to avoid a water crisis.
Well, we need to bring this front and center because Texas is out of water.
The needs and the response as demand for water keeps going up.
Produced from the Capitol in Austin and airing statewide, this is the award-winning State of Texas.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Josh Hinkle. It is the race to watch in Texas. Democrat Colin Allred is trying to defeat incumbent Republican Senator Ted Cruz. New polling suggests he has a chance. Emerson College and The Hill asked 950 likely Texas voters who they'd choose in the race for Senate. The results show Cruz ahead 49 to 45%. That is within the poll's margin of error. The poll also asked how likely voters feel about each candidate. Take a look at this graphic. Purple is good. It shows the percentage of voters who have a favorable view of each candidate. Dark purple is very favorable. Lighter purple is somewhat favorable. 48% like Ted Cruz. All red is close behind with 45%. Now, red is bad. That's the percentage of voters who have an unfavorable view of each candidate. And you can see 51% of voters do not like Ted Cruz. All red's negative numbers come in at 41%. But look at this gray bar here. It is important because that's the percentage of likely voters who have not heard of the candidate. And that's just 2% for Cruz, but 15% for Allred. That means a lot of undecided voters have not made up their mind about the Democrat. We asked the director of the poll about the numbers.
Cruz is a known commodity in Texas, obviously, whereas 15% say they aren't too familiar with Colin Allred. So there is some room there for Allred to, grow his name ID, grow his favorability, and perhaps catch up to Cruz. But independents are already breaking for Allred with 52%. I think there's probably some room for Cruz there, especially those independents who say that they're going to support Trump, but either haven't made a decision or are maybe leaning towards Allred. So I see little chance of, one candidate or the other breaking away here. I think if anything, it's only going to narrow further.
The poll also asked about the race for the White House, and no surprise, Donald Trump still has the advantage over Kamala Harris here in Texas. The poll from Emerson College and The Hill finds Trump leading Harris 51 to 46%. That is a 1% gain for Trump from a poll earlier this month. For context, Trump had the same 5-point margin when he beat Joe Biden in Texas back in 2020. Even with the poll numbers within the margin of error, neither presidential campaign is making an earnest effort to win Texas, at least not our votes. But as Ryan Chandler shows us, the campaigns are hoping our dollars will be making a difference in this crucial campaign.
We're just excited here in Bexar County. We're going to make sure that Bexar County turns out. We always say we're going to be as blue as a Texas sky, and that's what we're going to do here in Texas.
Blue skies on a red-hot day.
Anybody need any water?
Bexar County Dems lining up hours early for a star-studded lineup, hoping to boost local races and bring in the cash.
Just to have Doug here with us is hoping to help the down ballot. We're working really hard to get our president, and we know it'll be Madam President, all the way down to the bottom.
After San Antonio, Emhoff headed to Austin, then Houston. His visits right on the tail of J.D. Vance, who raised over $1 million last Sunday in Austin, the first of 4 high-dollar events to tap into the Texas well.
Texas is used to being an ATM for both parties in presidential election years.
The chair of the Travis County Republican Party was there.
And everyone was quite impressed with how sharp he was, the command he has of substance and policy, his clarity.
All in all, the FEC reports Texas donors have given more than $23 million to Donald Trump and more than $15 million to Kamala Harris. But Texas may soon be on the map itself, with more competitive statewide races. How long until the money starts coming in?
It will remain donor state until it becomes a truly purple state, which it isn't yet, but demographically that could happen in the next 10 years.
Ryan joins us now. Since you first covered this story, there have been a few updates, but a lot of buzz about the Texas Senate race lately.
Yeah, that's right. The mood inside the Allred campaign is that they have momentum and they want to capitalize on it. Seems like we get a poll or two every week on this race. It's all anybody's talking about, not just in Texas, but nationwide. And the polls are really in agreement, not so much about the specific numbers, but they all show a very tight race. Most of them are within the margin of error, many giving Senator Cruz a 3 to 5 point advantage. But we did see one poll from Morning Consult of likely voters this week that shows Allred's actually up by 1 point, which is an outlier to be sure. Cruz is still the favorite, but that just shows how close this race is going to be. So all that polling has led major polling aggregators and analysts to shift the rating of this race. People like Real Clear Politics and Inside Elections had Texas as a likely Republican race for the Senate. That is shifting to now just leaning Republican. So that's giving more energy, more momentum to Allred and forcing Cruz to really think about being defensive here.
Well, the buzz is attracting some national campaign cash to Texas as well, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. We learned this week that the DSCC, the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee, that's the arm of the party whose only job is to elect Democrats to the Senate, they announced that they're making another multi-million-dollar investment into Texas and Florida, focusing on Allred's race. That adds to another $79 million in ad reservations that they already had so far. So they say that they are expanding the map and they're going on offense in places that are typically thought as reliably red, like Texas. So that's significant. You have the DNC also announcing they're adding another $75,000 for Allred's race, as well as for Vicente Gonzalez and Michelle Vallejo down in South Texas. So Democrats smell blood in the water and they're swarming.
Well, I got to ask, how is the Cruz campaign reacting to all of this?
Well, Cruz is not taking anything for granted. He is campaigning very hard, trying to raise money. Every time you see Cruz on a national TV hit, he will tell Republican viewers that he's in trouble and he needs their help. I talked to the chair of the Travis County Republican Party this week, and he said candidly that Republicans are antsy. They know that they're confident in Texas Republicans, but they can't take anything for granted anymore, and they're treating this as a real battle.
Well, if you want to see the effect of the campaign cash, we have a commercial break coming up. Stay tuned. Ryan Chandler, thank you very much.
Thank you.
A new law boosts efforts to teach young Texans about the deadly threat of fentanyl. We speak to the mom who pushed for that law about the work happening now to save lives. Texas is running out of water, the warning from state leaders, and the call for action at the Capitol to meet the rising demand.